In the world's greatest country, in its most pivotal state, lies Pennsylvania's Lehigh Valley, an economic hub that's as vibrant as it is ideologically eclectic. Its just over 700,000 residents will play a critical role in deciding the course of American leadership and thereby the world. Who are the thinkers, workers, and leaders that will decide our collective fate? Join me, Moshe Kurtz, as I walk through the valley and find out. Welcome, my friends, and thank you for joining me today as I walk through the valley with Mr. Victor Martinez, owner and host of La Mega 101.7 FM, the premier Spanish language radio station serving the Lehigh Valley, and much more beyond the Lehigh Valley is my understanding.
Yes.
So before we jump into that, I actually hear that you like motorcycles. Is that right?
Absolutely. I've been riding motorcycles since I was 9 years old. I love riding motorcycles. I love the freedom that you get when you're riding motorcycle. For me, it's like a therapy. Helps me to think and get away and clear my head. So yeah, absolutely, it's a hobby of mine.
Well, I heard it's more than just a hobby. Apparently, you did a little bit of a trip across America. You want to tell me a little bit about that one?
Well, that was a crazy idea that sounded good, looked good, except when you do it, it was a little more complicated than that. So every year we do a fundraiser for St. Jude Children's Hospital, and this year was my 20th year working with St. Jude.
Oh, wow.
And I wanted to do something big. I wanted to do something different. So I came up with a great idea of, you know what, I'll drive my motorcycle all the way to California and back to raise funds for St. Jude.
Wow, that's a lot of time on the road.
It was 12 days.
Oh my gosh.
And so I did it. Let's go. Let's do it. 3-4 days into it, I realized what a mistake it was. but we did it, and we raised over $300,000 for St. Jude, which I'm very proud of. And I was able to combine my passion with helping St. Jude with motorcycle and riding motorcycles. And yes, I drove from Allentown to California and back. So it was interesting and it was fun. I wouldn't do it again, but I'm glad I did it, and it was fun. And I'm glad we were able to break our own record and raise over $300,000.
Well, that's really remarkable, but you're also a host of a daily radio show. So how did you manage that while on the road?
We did it. I was driving and hosting the show at the same time.
Wait, you're like driving the motorcycle?
Well,
and
I will start the show in whatever hotel I found the night before. I will start the show at the hotel. And then the last 20-30 minutes, I will hop on the bike.
Oh my gosh.
And with technology, I have a helmet that has a Bluetooth microphone. I will connect that Bluetooth helmet to the phone and have the phone connected to the studio. And yes, I was able to drive the motorcycle while hosting the end of the show, while also showing people with video on our Facebook, YouTube Live, me driving on the road, going to the next city.
What do you talk about when you're on the highway? Are you just like, and over here is a cactus, you can see a cactus on your left?
Well, I remind people why I was doing it. I reminded people the importance of why I was doing it. I will explain to them the pains and aches, while you're sitting in a motorcycle for 8 hours.
Oh my gosh, I can't imagine.
And again, and just have fun with it, showing people, because we also broadcast our show video, and again, on Facebook, on YouTube, on our app.
That's why when I said just Lehigh Valley, it doesn't really do it justice. I mean, what's your sense? Like, how broad is your listenership?
Well, we have a total of 5 radio stations. So we have Mega 101.7 in the Lehigh Valley, but then we also have 92.9 in Reading. We have 99.9 in Philadelphia. And so we have other radio stations that simulcast the morning show. Plus, we have a channel on Roku TV, which is nationally. Then we also broadcast the morning show on YouTube, on Facebook. So again, we get people who talk to us from Florida, from Texas, from Virginia, from North Carolina that listen to us in the mornings.
Right, and I think this is important because a little bit later in our discussion, we're going to talk about how Governor Shapiro had to pay you a visit. And understanding just how widely your show is being listened is going to help us appreciate that.
Well, but within Pennsylvania, the estimate is that within Pennsylvania, about 200,000 Latinos listen to us throughout the local radio stations, Lehigh Valley, Reading, Philadelphia. So we have an audience in the morning show about 200,000 Latinos in the state. So when the governor or anybody come and talks to me in the morning show, they are talking to about 200,000 Latinos in the state of Pennsylvania.
That is amazing. And I want to return to that point in a moment, but I actually just want to learn a little bit, Victor, a little bit more about you. So before there was La Mega, before we're sitting in your gorgeous new office right now, I'll take a picture so the folks can see it on Facebook as well, but I know this is done audio-wise. You'll just have to believe me, guys, or there's an event coming up, right?
Yes, there's an event. We posted pictures and videos on our social media that they can look at. But yes, we just moved into downtown. So we are now on Hamilton Street, just a block away from...
It's gorgeous. I'm looking out the window. I see the PPL Center right there.
Yeah. We are literally a block away from the PPL Center. This is a move that we've been working on for a while. We've been wanting to be part of the downtown, be part of the business community, being closer to the Latino community, because the Latino community is literally just down the street.
Yeah.
And having the office right here, when we just moved in 2 weeks ago, I believe gives us that closeness to the business community and to our audience itself.
What percentage of the Lehigh Valley belongs to the Latino community?
In the city of Allentown, 55%
That's
of the
majority
population.
Right there.
Yes, absolutely. 54 point something. I round that up to 55%. So 54 to 55% of the Allentown population is Hispanic. 30% of Bethlehem is Hispanic. About 15% of Easton is Latino. Lehigh County is about 30 to 40%
Remarkable.
Latino. And same thing with Reading. We have a radio station in Reading. 69% of the population in Reading, it's Latino. 15% of the city of Philadelphia, which is a city with millions of people, it's Latino. Pennsylvania has about 1.2 million Latinos. In total, give and take a few. So yeah, there's quite a few of us.
And that means that in your position, you are speaking to a very significant part of the population, and for politicians, the electorate. So we'll get there in a moment, but let's just back up a little bit over here. Did 10-year-old Victor always imagine he would be hosting the premier Spanish radio station of the Lehigh Valley in Pennsylvania, maybe of one of the big ones in America?
The answer is yes. I mean,
really?
Since I can remember, all I wanted to do was this. I used to lock myself in the bathroom as a kid with 2 radio cassette players. In one radio cassette, I will push play and play music, while in the other radio, I will record myself talking and introing music. I used to put myself in front of the mirror in the bathroom and read the newspaper as if I was a news anchor reading the newspaper. So yes, I mean, this is all I've always wanted to be, and it's what I've been doing now for 32 years.
Amazing. So tell me, where did you grow up?
I grew up in Puerto Rico, in Caguas, Puerto Rico. And then when I was about 16 or so, I moved to Orlando, Florida, which is where I went to finish my high school, finish my college education. And so been here in the States since 16, 17.
That is amazing. And before you founded your own radio station, you were with WFMZ for a little bit, which is a local TV station here in the Valley.
I worked all over the East Coast. I worked in Orlando, Tampa, Jacksonville, Florida, Washington, Atlanta, New York, Philadelphia. So I came to Pennsylvania in 1997 to work at the Mega Radio in Philadelphia. While I was working with Mega in Philadelphia, I had the opportunity to do some segments for Telemundo in Philadelphia. And
that's a national Spanish-speaking
No,
state.
that's here in Philadelphia.
Oh, okay.
Telemundo, Philadelphia, La Mega in Philadelphia.
Got it.
And then that's when FMC 69 decided to open a Spanish version of their newscast. And with my radio experience and now my Telemundo experience on television, I was hired to be one of their news reporters / anchors. And that's how I arrived to the Lehigh Valley back in 2002, 2003.
Yeah, and you've become a cultural icon here. I mean, I remember.
Thank you.
I think objectively speaking, I mean, I'm going
to tell that to my wife tonight. I'm a cultural icon.
Put that on the resume. I see quite a number of awards sitting behind you over there. I'll be honored if you put that over there next to them. But I mean, I remember recently at the Super Bowl there was Bad Bunny, and I actually had a friend of mine, Pastor Alex DeJesus. He has a church here in Center City, Allentown, and we talked about the nuances of how a religious Hispanic community is approaching that. But I thought what was really cool was you actually had Mayor Turk, the mayor of Allentown, with you for that event. What was that like?
Well, actually, he invited himself. I mean, he saw...
he shows up. That's his phrase.
We promoted on the radio that we wanted to get together, that we wanted to give the opportunity to people who wanted to experience that moment, that historic moment for us as Puerto Ricans, to do it with other Puerto Ricans, to get together. The Puerto Rican club in Bethlehem was generous enough to open their doors and let us meet with a bunch of our listeners there. And then the mayor heard on the radio that we were doing this and decided that he also wanted to be part of it. And so that was it. He showed up, and he, of course, he was more than welcome, and enjoyed the afternoon with us while we were watching what for us Puerto Ricans was this historic moment of having one of ours in the biggest stage in the world.
That's really remarkable. Now, I should have really led off with this question, so you'll help me out over here. Is it the Latino community, the Hispanic community? I know Puerto Rican is just a part of that.
They're both right. If you want to refer to us as Latinos, if you want to refer to us as Hispanics, if you individually want to refer to us as Puerto Ricans, Dominicans, Mexican, it's all correct and it's all good. We know you're referring to us. And it's okay.
So what do you think? I mean, I've been seeing, I think it's actually coming from outside the Hispanic community, but tell me if I'm wrong. There's been this thing where people will use the term, I don't even know how to pronounce, it's like Latinx.
Latinx.
With an X at the end.
I mean, I'm not a big fan. I'm not a big fan. You know, it complicates things. Again, for me, I'm Latino. But that came with all this new way of people identifying themselves, which for me is perfectly fine. Identify yourself in whichever way you want to. That's why we live in a free country. But keep adding descriptions to us. Are you Puerto Rican? Are you Latino? Are you Latina? Are you Latinx? So I'm not a big fan, but I respect whoever wants to identify themselves whichever way they wanted to. I am Victor Martinez from Puerto Rico, Puerto Rican, that in the United States I'm part of a Latino Hispanic community.
Yeah. Do you find that description is coming from within the Hispanic community, or do you feel like it's being imposed onto it?
No, I think that within the Latino community, again, people wanting to find different ways to categorize themselves. But no, I don't think it's coming from the outside. I think it's from the inside. But again, do you? And if that makes you feel good or better, great. In my case, I just don't think that adding more titles or more way to describe us, it's unnecessary.
Okay, so Victor, I know you're a very diplomatic guy, but you also, I also know you got some. I know until now our listeners are like, wow, like Victor, he's so conciliatory, so diplomatic. We're gonna get to the spicy stuff right now.
I don't hold back. That's one of the things that I'm known for on the radio. I say what I think, and a lot of times it gets me in trouble, but it is my opinion. So trust me, I'm not diplomatic at all.
Well, I've got a great example. I think I do. So I was driving our younger daughter to daycare a couple days ago, and I don't understand Spanish, but I just figured we're going to be talking soon, and I wanted a little bit of a flavor of the radio station, so I flip on 101.7, and I wrote down, after I parked, the 3 words I was able to understand. It was Fox News, Hitler, and Nazis.
There you go.
So I'm not sure I followed the rest of what was going on over there, but what was going on during that segment?
So we have a daily segment where we dedicate an hour of politics. where we talk about Trump and we talk about what's happening in the world and the decisions and the politics that Trump makes as our president and how that affects our community. And so I was probably referring to that, and to the I think, if I'm not mistaken, that I was referring to a soundbite from where Trump called Fox Radio, and he made a statement about the fact that immigrants, the problem with immigrants was genetic.
Oh, wow.
That we were genetically, some way, somehow defaulted to being a certain way.
Yikes.
And so I was making reference that is language that was used by Hitler and by the Nazis still to this day, that they are some way are superior, that the white race is superior.
Übermenschen, that they're a superior race.
Yes, and genetically they're superior. And so you might have picked up the reference to Hitler and
Those are the only words in English I understood.
But I was just giving the historical perspective that this is language that was used against the Jews by Hitler, that they somehow were superior, generically superior, and that today our so-called Nazi or white supremacists here in the United States continue to use to describe themselves as genetically superior from blacks and Latinos and other races.
Right, definitely there's an issue of white supremacism in the United States. Yes. No question about that. But so on this topic, actually, before we go there, the listeners don't see it, but I'm in your office here, and I see you have a mask of a figure with a mustache on it, and I think he's one of the characters from your show. Can you tell us a little bit about it? There's a rat also, I think.
Yes. So in Spanish morning show radio, in our culture, we have what we call characters, and is our personalities. It's like Saturday Night Live sketches where we have characters that come in and they are part of the entertainment. So that is Albertico. Albertico, it's a character of a Cuban American who is a full-on Trump supporter and comes every once in a while to the station to defend Trump. We also have La Rata of the Gossip, which, yes, it's the rat of the gossip, which we also have a puppet to represent the rat. And the rat gives us all the juicy gossip about the famous people.
Wow.
So again, our morning show, it's entertainment with the characters, the music, the giveaways, the politics. We try to keep a balance of not too much of politics, not too much entertainment, trying to give you a little bit of both to keep you tuned in. And so far, I can't complain. It's working.
I don't want to get too meta, but for our listeners, actually, we're soon going to have an interview with of WDIY Lehigh Valley Public Radio 88.1 FM. One of the NPR stations in Bethlehem.
Okay.
And it's going to be interesting, actually, to maybe contrast the different styles between like a typical NPR station versus what you're doing. It sounds very different, but both are arguably very important. Now, this is a question I like to ask folks who are a little bit more involved in the political sphere. Mm-hmm. It sounds like you are not a politician, but you're all in. So what's really cool about the Lehigh Valley is that, as you well know and our listeners know, we're in arguably the most pivotal swing state in the United States.
We're in the most swing neighborhood district.
Right, we're considered a bellwether. The Lehigh Valley is a bellwether for the nation. And what I would love to understand is, what do you think is going to be motivating the electorate here, and particularly the Hispanic community?
As far as the Hispanic community, we are no different than any other community. The economy. Remember the old saying, is the economy stupid?
Yes.
Back from the Clinton era, it's the economy. I get that question a lot. So what is important for Latinos? What do Latino cares about? Latino care about the same thing that white, blacks, Asian, Jews, same thing. We want to have a job. We want to make a decent wage. We want to be secure. We want to have health care. So the economy. The gas prices continue to go up. If prices at the grocery store continue to go up, that's going to be a decisive way in which Latinos may go one way or the other.
Absolutely. And we have midterms coming up soon for PA-07, which is going to represent, I think, pretty much the whole Lehigh Valley, if not the vast majority of it. And The way that you and I actually first interacted was I read your op-ed in the Morning Call, which I was really taken by because I think you argued your point in a way that was both firm and forceful while still respectful and steering clear of ad hominem at the same time, which is a very rare quality for people to have these days. So I want to commend you on that.
Thank you.
But I want you just to help us understand, maybe just summarize what your objection was about what's going on with the PA-07 race. And I should note that soon after this episode airs, in the next couple of weeks, we're actually going to be airing one-on-one candidate interviews with the PA-07 candidates.
Great. So I am a resident of PA-7. So it is my district. Whoever wins represents me and my family as well. So that's why for me it's a little more personal. And my article in the Morning Call was about the governor getting involved in this primary. That's not usually done. That's not typically done. Governors don't get involved in the primary process. They let the community, the people decide. And then once a winner is picked, then governor is all in for that candidate. In this cycle, Shapiro decided to get involved and endorse a candidate. I personally didn't like that. I didn't think that it was appropriate for him to get involved. I think it took away from us who live in the district and should have the right to choose our representative.
You feel like he put his finger on the scale?
Absolutely, because once the governor say that's the guy, a Democratic governor,
everybody has to line up behind him in his party.
I don't think everybody has to, but he sure puts more weight and it puts more attention, it puts more funding for that candidate, because then those who also fund the governor candidate for Governor Shapiro will may be also inclined to want to help that candidate. So I decided to put my money where my mouth is, and I reached out to the Morning Call and say, hey, I would like to write an op-ed, and it's not the first time that I do. They're very nice about letting me do this when I have something to say. And so I put it in writing. I called into question why the governor decided to get involved.
Right.
But I'm glad you said what you said, because my point here wasn't to insult anybody, to attack anybody. I wanted to honestly ask a question. I honestly wanted to, as a resident, as a public figure, as a voice for the Hispanic community, in a race where there is a qualified Latina running as well, wanted to know why the governor decided to get involved. PA-7 has 77,000 Puerto Ricans living in that district. I'm one of them. And that's just the Puerto Ricans. If you add all the other Latino races, that PA-07 Congressional District has about, give and take, 100,000 Latinos.
Wow.
And so, again, I just didn't like the fact that the governor decided to get involved.
Did the governor have any kind of consultation with this part of the electorate before making that decision?
To my knowledge, no. To my knowledge, there was no, let me reach out to the local leaders or to the local community, let me get their feelings about this decision. It was just announced. The governor is endorsing this particular candidate. And again, I felt that was inappropriate, and I put it on the paper for him to read.
Well, to the governor's credit, he did come in to your office, to your studio, and you actually had him on the show.
Yes.
And I would like to play a clip.
That's really special. Thanks for having me.
So we are here with you. We get the opportunity to chat with you, and I have three political questions for you.
Three.
That's it. Three political questions, and then we move to the business of Pennsylvania.
Let's do it.
Because you're running for re-election.
I am.
So the first question that I have, I wrote an op-ed for the Morning Call, talking about your decision to endorse a candidate on the congressional Pennsylvania race, Pennsylvania 7.
Yeah.
For me, it's personal.
By the way, you were critical of me.
Absolutely.
And I still came here to talk to you.
You see?
There you go.
That means I wasn't too hard. So, but for me, it's personal because I live in that district.
Yeah.
So my kid go to school in that district.
Yeah.
And so it is important for me because it's personal.
Yeah.
And so I just wanted to give you the opportunity to tell the residents of that district, including myself, why you make that decision.
Sure.
Why was it important for you to get involved and endorse a candidate?
Yeah. First off, I appreciate that we have the kind of relationship where you can write what you wrote. I can read it, maybe not like it, but still to have a dialogue with you like this where we get to be honest with each other.
Absolutely.
Sometimes you make these decisions when you're in my position because it's a political thing, right? But I want to pick up on the word you used, personal. This was personal to me, and I want to explain why. I've known Bob Brooks for many years. He's been a partner of mine in passing legislation to protect our firefighters. I've always been a supporter of our firefighters, and to be honest with you, after what my family and I went through a year ago at the governor's residence, where we were attacked, where an arsonist broke into the home, tried to kill us, and I have that image of me and my family, our dogs rushing out of the house while firefighters rush in. It became even more personal to me. And the reason why I stepped up to support Bob is because I believe in him. And I want to be really clear. It's not a negative on anyone else. I would never take a shot at any of the other candidates running. And I've expressed only affirmative reasons why I'm for Bob. I know we may be on different sides of this, but I think we can both agree that whoever emerges from the primary, we're going to be 100% in for them. And they have to beat Ryan McKenzie, who I think has been part of the failures of Washington, D.C. He's hurt this district, and he's making it harder for people to be able to afford to get ahead, harder for our business people, harder on our families. And so that is where I'm for Bob in the primary. It's personal to me, as I know your decision was personal to you. We're all going to come together when this primary is over, and we're going to make sure that we're united in defeating Ryan McKenzie.
Well, I appreciate you taking the time to explain. And like you said, we can agree to disagree. And I appreciate that, like you said, we have this relationship where I can express my opinion, whether agreeing or not with you, but then we can still talk about it like adults.
Absolutely.
And then move on.
So, Victor, we just listened to that clip about how the governor responded to your question. Do you feel that he adequately addressed your concern?
I will tell you yes and no. Yes, because the first thing he said was the truth. It was a political decision. So for me, I was satisfied with the fact that he said it, right? He didn't tiptoe around it. He looked him in the eye in front of everyone, because that was the interview that aired on my radio station, and he said it. It was a political decision. And then he gave us the other reasons that you heard. It was personal for him as well. And, you know, he has a special relationship with this candidate. He's worked before with Bob, which is the candidate in Harrisburg, as the president of the Firefighters Union. So again, there's a connection for him. He mentioned and made reference to the incident in the governor's mansion where he got that firsthand as a witness to the job that the brave men and women of the firefighters do every day.
Right, because of the arson attack.
Because the arson attack in the governor's mansion. So for me, it was okay because number one, he gave me the truth. It's a political, and then he gave me his personal point of view. And in the world that we live in, I think we need more of just agreeing to disagreeing.
Yeah.
I'm not going to change you, nor should I try to change you. I should just give you my input, give you my reason. You give me yours, and then we have to respect each other. So, you know, for those who may think, well, why weren't you more aggressive, or why you...
I was expecting you to come off a little more aggressive.
well, no, because he gave me the answer. He said it was a political one.
Okay.
Right? So, okay, I get it. It was a political reason. And then he gave me his personal reason. And who am I to question his personal reasons, to question that experience that he had with his family and firefighters? Doesn't mean I have to agree with him,
right?
But we got to be civil. We have to be adults and just agree to disagree.
Right. And just because he had a personal experience doesn't mean you don't want your personal experience to be represented still.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So let me ask you a question. Can I ask you a little bit of a tough question? Is that all right?
Absolutely. That's what I do for a living.
Okay, it might be an easy one, but it sounds like, and you could tell me if I'm, making too many assumptions over here. I'm going out on a limb. It sounds like you're very supportive. I mean, we could just use names already.
Yeah.
Of Carol Bondo Durstein, who's a very wonderful woman.
Absolutely.
I spoke with her on the phone. She was great, and I'm going to be interviewing her soon for the podcast as well. I'm really excited. It sounds like a huge part of your support, just from our discussion, is that you want your community to be represented. You want the Latino community to be represented, and she's the only person in the race who is actually a member of that community.
Well, I have publicly endorsed her.
Right.
I have publicly said it on my social media and on the radio. That's one of the things that I do with my audience, that I am extremely honest. I tell my audience where I stand. Mm-hmm. So when they hear me making any sort of point, they know where I'm coming from.
Right.
So I am very open with the audience. And yes, I am supporting her. But I am not supporting her because she's Latina. Mm-hmm. I'm supporting her because she's a qualified person. Mm-hmm. I'm supporting her because one of the problems that we have in the Latino community is finding qualified candidates. That is a problem that our community has always had.
Really?
Here we have a woman, mother, engineer, went to Penn State, has experience both in the private sector with working as an engineer for PPL, has worked in the public sector for a former senator, for a former governor, has been involved in the public sector with being involved in the commission, Latino commission for the governor, has run actually nonprofits, so she also has that experience. So out of all the candidates, I believe she has the resume. The other candidates are qualified as well. They may have some different type of experience, which are great. But again, I believe that she has all the experience: education, bilingual, public experience, private experience, nonprofit experience. And so that's why I'm supporting her.
This is great. I don't even need to interview her now. You just did a great job. I'll still interview her, don't worry.
Again, I'm not taking anything away from the other candidates.
Yeah.
I'm just telling you why I believe that she checked all the boxes. And for me, the icing on the cake is that she's bilingual and that she is Latina, which helps to represent all those 100,000 Latinos that live in that district.
It makes so much sense. I really appreciate you articulating it. That's really helpful for me, and I think it's really helpful for our listeners to appreciate that nuance.
And I also want to add that, I make it a point to highlight the qualifications of who I believe is the right candidate without knocking down or tearing down or trashing the other candidates. No, they are good candidates too. And again, they also have their own professional and life experiences.
Absolutely.
For me, this particular candidate check all those boxes.
Very good.
And if we can accomplish that and be successful, then hey, why not?
So as we're wrapping up, let me ask you something. I didn't actually prepare you with this question, but what's something that you really love about the Lehigh Valley? And then what's something that, if you could wave a magic wand, you could change about the Lehigh Valley?
I love the diversity of the Lehigh Valley. I love to live in a community that has so much diversity. We've been talking about the Latino community, but the Lehigh Valley is more than that. We have a big Syrian community. Yeah. We have a big African American community, and that diversity, and the Indian community as well. So I love the diversity that this particular. We find minorities in other cities, but this is one of those unique cities that has all of those diversities in one location. You can go from a Dominican restaurant to, again, a Syrian restaurant to an Hindu restaurant. Again, it's just So that's what I love, and that's what I want my son to grow up in a community that is diverse, that he gets to experience and talk to other kids that bring different backgrounds and parents who can bring different cultures, because in the world that we live in, we are now all interconnected through the internet, through the television, and so that's what I like. Now, the second part of your question, if I could have a magic wand and there's something that I would like, it's for all of those communities to engage more with each other. I want more interaction between the Latino community and the Indian community and the Syrian community and the African American community, for us to integrate ourselves and not be part of different groups. Okay, so we are here, you're there, they're there.
Yeah.
If I could wave a magic wand and find a way that we could collaborate more with each other, talk more with each other, find the things that we need, they may be the same things that you need, and then we can work together to accomplish them. I think that's the one thing that we're missing.
I love that. And I guess I'll get a little bit breaking the fourth wall. Part of what I love about doing this little podcast project is that it gives me a good excuse to get to meet folks from the other communities.
I mean, think about it. If it wasn't for this, for your podcast, you and I probably would have never met.
Yeah.
Right? You know, so again, what you and I are doing here, it's what that magic wand that you gave me, I wish I could do more.
Wow.
Because through the fact that I wrote an op-ed, through the fact that you have a podcast, I got to meet you, and now you and I get to exchange ideas. And you come with a different background, with a different upbringing, with a different religion beliefs than mine. I'm Christian, I'm a Catholic, but here we are, sitting down, having a conversation, bringing each other's ideas and points of view to the same table.
I love that. And you know, Victor, I think that's a great place to end off. Mr. Victor Martinez, thank you for your time, and I appreciate you joining me as I walk through the valley.
It's been a pleasure.
Thank you for joining me as I walk through the valley. If you enjoyed this episode, please take a moment to rate and subscribe to our show. If you have questions or would like to book a live recording or have a speaking request, please email rabbi@sonsofisrael.net. This is Moshe Kurtz. I look forward to having you join me next time as I walk through the valley.